been following the positive mindset religiously, like I did for some time, you would soon realize that there are glitches and cracks rising to the surfaces. And eventually you come to a point where you start suspecting that there is something fishy about it. And especially at that point, you realize that the lines between adopting a positive mentality and gaslighting have become really blurred. In all truthfulness, how can you feel positive when you have just lost someone near and dear to you? Someone close to you has passed and you are being told, in all that grief that you're experiencing, drowning as you are in your overwhelming emotions, to be positive and look at the brighter side of life. Really? Or you might have lost your job. And if those around you are not trying to push you to adopt a positive mentality, then perhaps a part of you is telling you that you should feel positive about it. But what about your bottled up feelings in such scenarios, where you start suppressing because you want to be positive and be present in the moment? Apart from the positive mentality movement, even living in the now movement will show up similar glitches eventually, especially when you start going deep enough into that framework. But that's a subject for another video or blog post. In this video, I want to focus more on how and why you have been tricked into believing that adopting a positive attitude is most beneficial for you, and after raising awareness about how you have been tricked, I will also propose what to do with it. At the end of this video, I will also provide a brief academic bibliography. I love books and learning, as it expands my mental real estate, providing room for more noses to be downloaded. I am not affiliated with any of the books that I propose. However, the business door is open for collaborative business projects. Before going even further, I would like to make it clear that I am not recommending to adopt a negative mentality. A realistic attitude is often misunderstood to be negative, typically by those promoting a positive mentality. So, first and foremost, beware of those who are so brainwashed themselves or who are simply unaware of the situation that will rebuke you at your own attempt to choose realistic over positive. Whenever something is polarized, meaning in this case that you choose positive over negative or the other way around, that is generally not a smart way to operate within the psycho-spiritual dimension. Exceptions exist, of course, and these include when the scales are so off-balanced that you need an additional dose of its antidote to find your equilibrium again. And this is why it is so fundamental to have someone guide you in such matters. A professional psycho-spiritual coach will know when the dose needs to be decreased or adjusted according to the stage of healing that you're in. So, for example, if you are seeking help due to the consequences of having lived in negativity for some time, then you will be probably given the medicine of positivity until it balances you out, after which you will be trained and directed to live in a more realistic way of life, rather than living solely within the positive mentality mindset. The major risk of a positive mentality is that you become very likely to attract calamities, negative people, and negative situations. This is a natural consequence of being polarized more to one side than to the other. We have veered excessively to the positive, so that you become a really good match to those who had veered excessively to the negative. The old adage of opposites attract couldn't be more true. Although it is good to note that even likes attract in certain situations. But I will save that for another time. That is not all. In this video, I am going to reveal the dark, the hidden truth behind the positive mentality movement. Someone who sees positive in everything is running around asking to be thrown anything at them so that they can exercise their positivity. They might even get a kick out of how well they are succeeding in finding something positive in the most challenging of situations. And this is good news for the negativity archetype, which some call devil or Satan. Why is that? Well, because your excessive inclination towards the positive polarity is what the negative archetype feeds off. So basically, you become the food of choice for all the negative archetypes at the top of the energy food chain. If you think of energy as a hierarchical structure, where you have this negative archetype, or the devil or Satan, whatever you wish to call it, sitting at the very top, and then those beneath, including people who go around living mostly within the negative mentality framework, are the subordinates or ambassadors of the negative archetype right on top. The negative archetype is co-creative, and as such it is not evil. It is only when of a polarity that we experience its detrimental characteristics. The negative archetype, in its toxic form, is never unified with the positive archetype. It devours it in a continuous cycle of feeding, purging, and it is the source of so much suffering in the world. When the negative archetype is dancing with the positive archetype, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, there is no feeding mechanism involved, and the force of love and wisdom are intertwined, and unity is formed. Is this Christ consciousness? Could be. Discernment between what is excessive positive and excessive negative is key to your spiritual journey towards spiritual unity. The same is true on a collective level, and that is why in our society today you see this polarity between the individual and the community. Some spiritual teachers have even gone so far to equate those advances in society that encourage us to be more individual, such as those brought about by technology, to be satanic. And there may be some truth. Indeed, some of technology is used to have your energy feeding off the negative archetype and all that it represents. However, on the other hand, thanks to the positive polarity, this is sometimes converted to a more wholesome consequence. Think of online meetings, for instance. They have removed the organic characteristics of meeting in person and of all the benefits that in turn carries with it. However, it has enabled communication to take place that might otherwise have been restricted because of distance. And how many fruitful and enriching online meetings have been conducted ever since this technology has come into existence. Adopting this discernment of reflecting upon both the positive and the negative is the cornerstone of spiritual awakening and in your journey towards Christ consciousness, because it is so easy to be misled and brainwashed. You need access to spiritual coaches like me who will hold the space to provide you with the necessary spiritual tools that you use for the benefit of your spiritual growth. I will leave instructions below this video on how to get in touch, and bye for now.